Welcome back, everyone. I'm Psycho Emerald. Today I'm back with another Marvel Legends Spider-Man action figure unboxing and review. It's been about 4 months since my last Marvel Legends review, so I apologize to all you Marvel fans who watch my videos that there haven't been any new Marvel reviews. I did do that discussion of the new No Way Home Spider-Man. I'll link that up in the corner if you haven't seen it yet, but I did discuss that when they revealed those. So that was my last time doing a Marvel review, and that was still like 2 months ago. But yeah, this is going to be my first Marvel Legends review in a while, and I got the Symbiote Suit Spider-Man on the retro style card back. And it is on the retro Spider-Man body as well, which is really, really cool. I've heard really good things about this Spider-Man body when it comes to the articulation, and the sculpt looks really good from here. But yeah, let's check out the card back before we get this figure out. I got this for $30 on Amazon, so I got a pretty good deal on it, I'd say. Free shipping and all that, so I was glad to finally snag this guy because he was pretty hard to pre-order when he first went up. He sold out pretty quick, but now he's pretty easy to get your hands on if you want to get him on eBay. He's around like $35 on average, I think. So yeah, anyway, all that rambling aside, let's check out the package real quick. We got the Hasbro logo and a warning down there. We got Symbiote Spider-Man. We got that classic like animated series title up there with Spidey himself hanging out on top. Marvel Comics, ages 4 and up. Of course, the bubble with Spider-Man inside. Very, very cool artwork, and the background of New York City is very cool as well. Back here, we've got Symbiote Spider-Man artwork, and then we've got the Marvel logo, retro Spider-Man 90s logo, once again with kind of this web pattern behind it. This thing here, which is replicating, like, I think the old packages showed like a play feature. This just shows that you can swap the hands, which is kind of silly, but I get that it's to replicate the old style of the packaging. So yeah, Symbiote Spider-Man right there, and it says Spider-Man gets an all-new look when he finds a sleek black costume in a space shuttle wreck. Little does Spidey realize he's joined himself to the predatory alien symbiote Venom. Yes, very cool storyline. One of my favorite Spider-Man stories just in general, just based on the concept of it. I'm not super big into the comics, but everywhere I've seen the symbiote story done, it's been pretty much done the same way, and I've always really liked it. And then we got a bunch of the other figures that have been released. I might like to get Shocker or Ben Reilly Spider-Man. I don't know much about Ben Reilly, but that looks like a cool Spider-Man figure to me, and the original retro Spider-Man is super hard to find, so just any figure on the retro Spider-Man body I'd be happy with. Spider Armor Mark 1, Hammerhead, Hobgoblin, Shocker, cool stuff. We got a sticker as well, bunch of legal stuff, Hasbro logo again. So let me get the trusty unboxing knife, and we will break Symbiote Suit Spider-Man out of the packaging. All right, so I've got the trusty unboxing knife. Let's cut him open. I will try my best to preserve the card back because it is very nice. I was surprised that Amazon didn't destroy it like they usually do. There's usually at least one major dent, and there was only one minor dent in the packaging this time, so I was quite impressed. Because usually, yeah, Amazon doesn't really care all that much. I cut the card back a little bit. I don't mind too much because I am obviously taking it out, but I do really appreciate the packaging on these things. And I would like to preserve it if I can, of course. But if it ends up getting a little ripped, it's okay, because it's all about the figure for me. Or at least it's like 95% about the figure, at least. So, anyway. Drop the knife. Be careful with knives, by the way. So, anyway, let's get Spidey out right there. Really, really cool. It seems kind of surreal that I actually have this. Because, yeah, I didn't know if I would ever end up getting this figure, but I really, really wanted it. This is one of my favorite all-time Spider-Man designs. And I know it's a fan favorite, and that's why it was so popular. A lot of people are still waiting on their pre-orders for this guy because of how much of a demand there was for him. But, yeah, I'd recommend checking Amazon, checking eBay. You might be able to find a surprisingly good deal on this guy if you don't want to have to wait any longer for those never-ending pre-orders. So, yeah. Got all the swappable hands out. Now let's get Spider-Man himself. And there we have him. Ooh, I'm liking this so far. All right, let's get all the packaging out of the way, and we'll take a look at Symbiote Spider-Man. All right, so there's Symbiote Suit Spider-Man all out of the package, looking really cool. And might I say, he looks really good just standing there. I got to mess around with him a little bit off camera. The articulation is pretty remarkable. I guess we can go over that first. Like, as you can see, head movement is amazing. But main thing that I wanted to point out is watch this. Watch this. This is insane. Like, what? He can bend all the way over. That is just, and he can bend like just as far back. Like, that's crazy. And it's because you've got the ball joint at the torso as well as the hinge down here at the waist. So you like that's the way you got to do it from now on. Like, no more of this just the hinge at the center of the torso, or like just the ball joint is manageable, but do both if you can, because yeah, that's just amazing. But yeah, if we want to just talk about the look of the figure, the proportions are pretty great. The arms might be a little long, but honestly, I don't think they really are. I think they look pretty good. The head, once again, doesn't look too big or too small. All the musculature and everything just adds to this looking like, of course, Spider-Man. Looks really, really nice. And the painted on eyes, I'm not seeing any QC issues with the eyes on my figure. And the spider logo on the center looks amazing. We've got the legs that wrap all the way back around to the back one, and that will get kind of broken up if you like move the butterfly joints back, which is another thing we can talk about when it comes to the articulation. The butterfly joints are insane. Like, look how far back those can go. Like, that's awesome. We need more things like that. Like, every figure should have butterfly joints like that, or every figure that needs to get into some sort of like action pose needs butterfly joints like that, because you need to be able to pull off those poses. So yeah, I've heard great things about the articulation on this body, and it's not disappointing. Like, even a boot swivel. Now, the only problem I have with this figure is the pins. Like, that's all I'm having so far, is like the pins are not ideal, but they don't look as bad as they did on the first retro Spider-Man figure, where they were like the wrong colors. Like, they were red, and so like on the blue they would stand out. At least this guy's all black, so it doesn't look that odd. It's not as noticeable, but it's just we get used to now having the pinless tech on all the figures, and this one's just ever so slightly outdated where it does still have the pins, but still a really great figure body. And you can pop the head off pretty easily, which is nice. So you can see that there's kind of a cut in the back of the neck, which allows the ball joint to go back and allow for that head movement like that, which is cool. So yeah, 100% really cool figure. So let's check out the alternate hands. And another thing I wanted to point out, the feet are very big, which is a good thing. Make the feet as big as you want on a figure, because as long as they just blend in, it doesn't really matter what the feet look like, because you don't ever look at the feet. Like, as long as they blend in with the rest of the figure, make those feet as big as you can, because that makes it so that he'll stand up super easily. So let's set him right there, and we'll talk about the extra hands. So we've got the extra hands, which they all kind of have this white rectangle on the back, which I think is kind of cool, because it just adds a little bit of a splash of white onto the hands so that they're not all black. I think that's pretty cool, and I didn't actually know that existed until I saw this figure. But yeah, that is how they are on the actual suit. If we look at the artwork, he does have kind of a white spots on the back of his hands, which I think is pretty cool. And then he also has, so those are kind of the splayed out or like wall crawling type hands, which is really cool. And then these are the web whipping hands, which you can't have a Spider-Man figure without these. Absolutely 100%. Gonna need those for some fun Spider-Man poses. So yeah, that's gonna pretty much be it. There's not a whole ton to talk about with this figure other than it just looks really, really cool. And I've kind of been on a bit of a Spider-Man kick. Well, I guess I'm kind of always on a Spider-Man kick, but I've been playing Spider-Man Remastered on PC basically nonstop since it dropped in August. So I've just, yeah, really been into Spider-Man. And so, of course, it's nice to finally get another Spider-Man figure, because I actually haven't had a comic Spider-Man figure until now. I've only had MCU ones, which I only have the integrated suit and the upgraded suit MCU Spider-Man figures, but they're both really good. I'm looking over at them on my shelf right now. I'll pose up, and they're really nice too, but I'd say the articulation on this body is a lot better, because it's able to just be like just a sleek Spider-Man body mold instead of having to have the extra like MCU details on it or anything like that. So I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, let me put him in a cool pose and I'll give you guys a closer look at Symbiote Suit Spider-Man. All right, so there he is. Yeah, as you can see, I've just been playing around with this guy a lot. Put him in that pose. Probably looks kind of weird on camera, but I'm going for kind of like a just kind of landed or crouching pose where he's got his hand on the ground, kind of a pretty iconic Spider-Man thing to do. I like the way that looks. I don't know how I'm going to end up displaying him because there's just so much fun stuff you can do with this Spider-Man body. And honestly, when figures have this good of articulation and this many options, it's hard for me to decide how I want to display them. Because it just feels like I should utilize every bit of the articulation that I can because all of it is there and all of it works so well. But yeah, the only complaint I will say for this guy would be the elbow joints. They are very gummy and rubbery. I don't know if everyone would have that problem, but on mine, they, as you can see, they're very bendable, which kind of doesn't seem very sturdy. Seems like it could break. So I would just be cautious of that if you get one and it ends up being kind of the same way. But otherwise, every bit of articulation works really, really nicely. And even just, yeah, in kind of a neutral standing pose, you can probably come up with something pretty cool for a display. Yeah, I'm just really liking this guy. Really enjoying this figure. Excited to put him up on my display. And I really hope you guys enjoyed my review of him as well. So yeah, hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. If you like Marvel Legends action figure unboxings and reviews, that's what I do on my channel. I do a pretty much a mix of Star Wars and Marvel action figure collecting content on my channel, and I just throw in a little bit of whatever I'm adding to my collection at the time. I have a NECA Back to the Future figure coming soon. I collect Jurassic Park stuff. I even collect Funko stuff. So yeah, there's a little bit of everything. So whatever you're into, if you're into any of that, please consider subscribing in order to join the Knights of Mischief. And as always, hope you guys found this review helpful. Hope you found it enjoyable, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.